Hello, fragrance video for you tonight. I'm having a bit of a lighting disaster around the house, so I've ended up in my spare room and weirdly the light bulb's just gone in here as well in the ceiling, which doesn't matter too much because I film with different lights, but it just means I've got this kind of low lighting romantic evening look going on, which is slightly strange. But I'm talking about fragrance and kind of warm sensual fragrances, so I suppose it kind of fits. So yes, fragrance video, mainly because we're changing season and I think it's quite nice to change up your fragrance as you move into the colder months. And also there have been quite a few lovely new fragrance releases recently, and instead of just reviewing them one by one, which I think can be a bit boring because it's so subjective and what I love you might not love, and I think just describing the notes over a video is in a way a little bit pointless. You really have to try them for yourself and and see whether you like them. But it's nice to just run through them so that you know that they're there. So I wanted to do that, and also I wanted to show you this brilliant gift with purchase that's just come out, but I think they'll go really quickly, so I didn't want to leave the video too long and then do the video, tell you about this and none of them be left. So this is a Jimmy Choo gift with purchase, and it's a luxury shoe case. And it really reminds me of the ballet cases that we used to have to take round with us when we were little, and you'd have your kind of leotard inside and your ballet shoes and your tap shoes, and I just felt very nostalgic when I saw this. So it's a patent on the outside, and then in the inside you've got this lovely lining, and I don't know, you could use it as a beauty case or for jewellery or for shoes as it's intended. And if you've got Jimmy Choos, then lucky you, you can put those in there. So really nice that, and it's free with every Jimmy Choo purchase of 60ml and above. So not really weeny versions of perfume, but the full thing. And this is the Jimmy Choo Eau de Parfum, and actually this is one of the best sellers in the UK. And I can kind of see why, because it's very, I don't know, it smells very glam. I've got cat hair floating around. It smells very glamorous and it looks very glamorous. And I think, just owning a little bit of Jimmy Choo, it feels like a nice little treat to self. So if you're starting to think about Christmas presents, or somebody's thinking about Christmas presents for you and this perfume is on your list, then I would get in there quickly and just get the free shoe case with it, because it is a really nice little freebie, that one. And I also love another one that I mentioned recently, a perfume that to me seems quite similar in that it's quite full on and it seems to have every single note thrown into it, and that's Lancome's La Vie est Belle. And I didn't like this at first, but I wore it out, I was testing it, and so many people asked me what I was wearing that I thought there's got to be something about this perfume. So I persevered for about a week, and then one day I came back into my bedroom and it just smelt of this, and I thought, actually, that is really gorgeous. Another one that's been released kind of in the last few months is the Coco Noir from Chanel, and this one reminds me a lot of Coco Mademoiselle. Now, there's nothing wrong with Coco Mademoiselle, it's actually one of my favourite fragrances of all time, but there were a lot of people wearing it, including a couple of my very close friends and my mum. And I don't know, just when so many people wear one fragrance, I sometimes think it's time to switch for a little while and then come back to it. So I was quite glad to see that that Chanel had brought out a similar perfume. But I saw a lot of reviews saying that this was very different to Coco Mademoiselle, more exotic, more spicy. And I don't think it's very different at all. I think it's very similar, but there's enough of a point of difference, and it's a little bit kind of sleeker and more grown up, and obviously the packaging's very different. And I think there's enough of a point of difference to make it worthwhile testing it out and seeing whether you like it, because if, like me, Coco Mademoiselle is your firm favourite, but you just want something that other people, or not so many people, have got, then it could be a good one to go for. Another great release of the summer was the Guerlain Le Petit Robe Noir. Guerlain, for me, and this is just personal preference, the perfume's always very kind of grown up and a little bit too grown up for me. I don't really know how to describe it any better than that, but I hope you get my drift. So anyway, they've brought out this one which is supposed to be very much younger, and again at first wasn't too keen on it. Couldn't smell the black cherry at all, which it was supposed to smell of. But now that is all I get. I get a really kind of fruity, fun perfume, but also very sophisticated. It's not fruity in a tacky way. So love that one. And it reminds me a little bit of the Jo Malone that I love so much. This is Vlevet Rose Oud. Not a new release, really. It was earlier this year, but absolutely gorgeous, and I wear it all the time. It's really kind of fruity and deep and mysterious. So that's still a firm favourite, and I'll be wearing that over the winter for sure. And actually Jo Malone have a special release for the autumn, and it's very autumnal. This is the Blackberry and Bay cologne. Not quite my thing, but if you like very kind of fresh, greenish, gardeny scents, then you will really like this. I mean, Jo Malone never really get it wrong for me, so it's just a matter of which ones I like the most. And I'm not saying I dislike it by any means, but for me, something like the Vlevet Rose is a lot more appealing. That's just my taste. But people that like the lime basil, for example, or grapefruit, this for me is more along those lines. One of my favourite perfume releases of the whole year, I think, has to be the Terry de Gunsberg fragrances, and they've just gone into Harrods, I think, last week. Now, some of you might not know this name, but you might know By Terry Cosmetics, which I really rate. They're very expensive, very premium, but there's just nothing to fault with them. And the By Terry Sheer Cover Foundation is probably my favourite foundation of all time. So I was really interested to hear that she brought out a fragrance line, and it's not disappointing at all. Very, very heavy, luxurious packaging. And then this one is my favourite from the line. This is Flagrant Délice. I haven't said that in a very good French accent at all, but it's very figgy. And I think that I might have mentioned before that I love fig scented things. People that read the website will know for definite that I love fig scented things. So this was my pick, and it's just a very kind of deep, exotic kind of fig. And I'm wearing it every day pretty much. I'm spoilt for choice at the moment with my fragrances. And I do like to try and stick to one at a time. So it's quite difficult because there are so many that I love. But I don't know, one for each occasion, I suppose. This one's from Liz Earle. It's the Botanical Essence number 15. Not kind of particularly inspiring with packaging, but actually the fragrance inside is really, really appealing. I didn't like the other one that they did. I think this is very masculine. It's not, if you wore it, people wouldn't say, oh my god, she's wearing aftershave. But it's just got that really sexy kind of undertone of man, if you know what I mean. That's going to sound really strange. I think that you have to just smell this and try it really and see whether you like it. But I was just very surprised because I hated the last one they did, but this one really, really like. Last one. This is by Van Cleef and Arpel, and this is First Intense. Now, this is slightly too grown up for me. I think that it's got quite a lot of iris in it. You know, that kind of powdery dressing table smell? And it is definitely the iris, I think, that does that. And this has that very strongly. So I think this will be Marmite. You'll either really love it or you won't like it at all. However, there's another version of this. It's very kind of sparkling and light, and I can't see any similarity between the two of these at all. None whatsoever. I'm just going to spray this the other side so I can remind myself of how gorgeous it is. Oh, it's just amazing. Just kind of sparkling, and for some reason it reminds me of the seaside. And I love one of these poofy atomizer things. Just think they look great on the dressing table. So this one is called An Air de First. But I think this is younger and this is a lot older and more sophisticated. So just depends what you like. But this just goes to show, proves my point that fragrance is such a subjective thing, and what I love you might hate, what I hate you might love, all that kind of thing. So get thee to a perfume counter and make sure that you smell all of these on a list and let me know what you think. And that's it for me for now. I hope this video comes out okay and doesn't look too odd with this lighting. I've got a sleeping cat on my toes, which is very nice. It's been keeping me warm the whole video, but I'm now starting to get my little throat thing, which means that I've been talking for far too long and you've probably all dropped off to sleep. So I shall see you in the next video.